All right, everyone. Thanks for your patience there while we let some more folks get into the meeting here today. Again, my name is Sean Fitzgerald. I will be taking you through the industrial buying engine on thomasnet.com today. So all the cool new features and technology that we have on the thomasnet.com platform to help you grow your business. A little bit of background about me. I've been at Thomas for 23 years. I started out as a mechanical engineer and I did all kinds of CAD work, worked in the marketing team, some of the sales teams and products here across Thomas as well. Was the chief marketing officer of Thomas prior to the acquisition by Xometry, and now acting as president here at Thomas and the chief marketing officer at Xometry as well. So all kinds of cool stuff to share today and to take you through. So without further ado, let's jump right in. What we're going to cover today is an overview of the industrial buying engine. So this is the new features and functionality inside of thomasnet.com that allow both the buyers and suppliers to submit quotes for review, suppliers to send quotes through, and buyers to be able to check out right on platform and all the benefits that go along with that. So we're going to talk about all the different messaging capabilities that are inside of there, how projects get quoted, how those RFIs and RFQs can be managed, and then how you get paid with everything that gets ordered through thomasnet.com for your business. So really excited about walking through this with you and giving you a full introduction across the board from end to end on how this works. So first, what did we do here with Industrial Buying Engine, and why did we take these first steps into launching this into Thomas here in this first version of Industrial Buying Engine? Some of the feedback that I've heard over my 23 years at Thomas has been from buyers. Their biggest piece of feedback is they need to get quicker answers and responses from the supplier side. And from suppliers, everybody just wants more work at the end of the day, but not just any work, the work that they want at the end of the day. So what we tried to do here first inside of Industrial Buying Engine is give buyers an easy way to submit these requests for quote and have a way to understand if they're being worked on and have a communication tool to go back and forth with them in an easy and condensed way, as opposed to things getting lost in email sometimes. It's also a focus here to enable suppliers to say if they're interested in something or not, because one of the things that I've heard over my career here as well is, oh, I saw that, it's not for me, but there's no response back to the buyer to actually communicate that, hey, this one's not for me. So these are some of the basic features that we've built into here. But at an overarching focus here, the industrial buying engine is really about saving you time and money, getting you paid faster, and eliminating the risk for your business. So how do we do this? In saving you time and money, there are pre-negotiated terms here when buyers check out on thomasnet.com using the industrial buying engine. For you as suppliers, you automatically get paid net 30, and as a premium supplier on Thomasnet, so that would be all of our Thomas verified or Thomas registered suppliers, there's a 0% transaction fee. So for anything that you're running right now, typical transaction fees are anywhere from 1.5% to 5%. As a Thomas registered or Thomas verified supplier, that transaction fee goes to 0. So you don't have to burn up any time negotiating terms with folks. You automatically get paid net 30 and have that 0% transaction fee. So as far as getting paid, this is paid directly from Thomas to you, net 30 upon fulfillment of that order. So again, there's no worry about having to chase around a buyer and trying to get that payment to come through. Thomas takes on that risk for you, and we make sure that you just get paid here right away. So looking to save you time and money, get you paid quick, and take away that risk from the business, especially when you're onboarding new buyers and new customers for your business. So let's take a walk through how this works inside of the industrial buying engine. First, you're able to message buyers and go back and forth and discuss the different components of projects or things that folks need quoted. You're able to actually put together quotes right in the industrial buying engine on thomasnet.com so that they can be submitted directly back to the buyer. And then you're also able to get paid directly here by Thomas too. So I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process on how industrial buying engine works, and then the buyer's pieces of the puzzle, and then also how it works for you here as suppliers. First, we've introduced a communication tool on thomasnet.com that allows buyers to communicate directly with suppliers. So for anyone that has used LinkedIn before, it looks like a very similar communication tool in here. So instead of submitting a quote, buyers can come in and ask some really quick questions of suppliers to really get the ball rolling and learn a little bit more without that commitment of having to ask for a quote or, you know, a request for info here as well. So as these come through to you, what you're going to see on your side, if a buyer comes in and starts to submit a message to you, what you're going to see is a notification in your email that says, hey, you have a message to respond to. Again, much like LinkedIn and the way that communication process works inside of their messaging tool, very, very similar here as well in the industrial buying engine. So you'll see the company, you'll see the name of the person here that's reaching out to you, and you can go check out that message. When you go to check out that message, you can either tell them that, hey, yes, I'm interested in this discussion or not, or you can repeatedly, you know, go back and forth and ask questions here too, right? So all of this gets contained inside the industrial buying engine on thomasnet.com that you can find in your Thomas account on the platform here too. So everything remains organized in one place, and you can see all of those communications where, you know, from what we hear, that can get a little difficult sometimes when it's across multiple different email addresses with folks on your team. Your team can have access to all of this data, and everybody can be in there to see it in one place. So next, we're looking to create that streamlined quoting experience after messaging, or if folks are just ready to go. There are multiple different ways that folks can communicate with you and request a quote. So we have activated the request for information feature that we had on the platform previously. So that is now available for buyers to come in and submit a request for information. That triggers an email that goes straight into your inbox with all the information about the quote. And I think most of you are very familiar with that functionality and how it's worked. We also have the industrial buying engine that you can see up here on the right, where it says quote your project, and then we have send a message that we just talked about. So buyers can come in and click on quote your project to submit that quote request through the industrial buying engine. One of the reasons that they may want to do this is because Thomas actually provides transaction assurance for buyers that want to request quotes from Thomas registered or Thomas verified suppliers. So what is that transaction assurance? What that is a two-sided benefit here for both the buyer and the supplier. So if a buyer comes in and submits a quote through the industrial buying engine, it is automatically activated for any supplier that they choose that is Thomas registered or verified. So there's nothing for the buyer to do to activate transaction assurance. It's just automatically turned on for them when they come and try to, when they send an RFQ to a supplier that is either Thomas registered or Thomas verified. What this does for the buyer is it gives them 21 days to work through some resolution if there was any problems with their orders or the deliveries that happened there. For the supplier side, this is only available for Thomas registered and Thomas verified suppliers, so we do not offer this transaction assurance to any of the other folks that are on the platform right now. Again, this comes with net 30 payment terms for the supplier, and also that 0% transaction fee for that for the suppliers that are Thomas registered and Thomas verified. So what does this do? Aside from providing this assurance and protection here on both sides for the buyer and the supplier, it also provides a greater incentive for buyers to want to transact and work with Thomas verified and Thomas registered suppliers. So all of those programs that you have running now inside of the platform are more valuable than ever, because that is going to be another huge point of why buyers are going to want to work with you over someone else on the platform here. So as a buyer comes in and submits that request for quote through the industrial buying engine, what you're going to see in your email inbox is a notification that you have a project to review and quote in the industrial buying engine. Right now, those emails contain the buyer's name and the company name. Very shortly here, after discussions with the product and development team and the timelines there, it's also going to include contact information, so that's phone number, email, and also the body of the request too. One of the things that we're trying to do inside of the industrial buying engine is take a step forward in the information that you receive. So historically, with the RFI feature on thomasnet.com, there was an empty block that folks could write basically anything they wanted to you inside of that and submit it to you. Inside of the industrial buying engine, there are actually fields that they need to fill out for you. So quantity, lead times, destination, any other features that they want to do. We're trying to get you as much information as we can. So all of that is contained inside of the industrial buying engine on your Thomas account on thomasnet.com. And this is the notification that you get. Again, right now it has that buyer's name and the company name, but also it has very shortly in the future, it will have the body of the message as well as all the contact information here too. So once you click that button and you come in to see the quote that's been submitted to you, you can actually message here as well. So while we did show the feature for messaging that looks a heck of a lot like the functionality that you'd see or use on LinkedIn, there's also a way to do this right inside the quoting tool on the industrial buying engine. So you can go back and forth to ask even more questions beyond the lead time and the other prints that perhaps they gave you and the quantity or estimated annual usage that they have for something. This is an area where you can ask all of that questions, and again, it gets documented so you can see all of the answers or any of the files that have been uploaded here as well as we go forward. So make sure that you're communicating with those buyers. Communication is key to winning business. Again, the biggest thing that I've heard over my career is response time is the key to winning that business from buyers. They need to know that somebody cares on the supplier side and is looking at their quote and working on it right now. So the more that you leverage the communication tools here, the better things are going to go for you and your opportunities to win that business. So we've gone back and forth with the buyer now. We have all of our questions answered. We love this work and we want to quote it. We can come into the industrial buying engine and actually start to build out a quote. So you can do all different line items. So whether that's the SKUs that you're sending for the count, any additional services that are provided on top of those, shipping costs that go along with it, as well as all of the information on where things are going to be shipped and who the contacts are. Again, inside of this, you have the email address and phone number of the buyer, so you can always have offline communications as well if that's a requirement here going forward. So we've made the quote tool very flexible for you, so you can build in all of the pricing components to come up with that total quote price as we go forward. Once you've built this out and put it together, you can hit send and that quote goes back to the buyer and they get notified that a supplier has responded to that quote and they have a real price now that they can review. Some of the things that I've seen in the early days of folks using an industrial buying engine, again, we're trying to negotiate terms that were actually worse than the net 30 that we provide. So just again, pro tip, you don't have to negotiate terms here. Just send this back and you're automatically guaranteed net 30 payment terms. So once this quote goes back to the buyer and they're notified and they click and they come look inside of their Thomas account, they can see, hey, this is great. This company got back with a $20,000 quote on this project that we wanted to do or these SKUs that we wanted to buy. Now that buyer has multiple different ways to pay. So while the supplier is going to be guaranteed payment net 30, the buyer can choose to pay with a credit card or a debit card. They can do ACH with their bank account. We have thousands and thousands of buyers on Xometry.com right now that have billing terms already and billing profiles with Xometry that they can actually use now across all of those premium suppliers. So Thomas registered and Thomas verified folks on the platform right now too, so they can bring all of that buying power that they already have across those large organizations to buy directly from you using that. And we also have a feature called Buy Now, Pay Later. What Buy Now, Pay Later is a feature of a tool called Credit Key that allows buyers to access up to $50,000 in credit in a matter of seconds that they can use then to buy products and services from you. So this is another step that we've taken here on Industrial Buying Engine to make sure that we're going to put as much money and buying power into the buyer audience for you so that they can come spend that money with you on projects and parts and components that they need. So all kinds of different ways that the buyer can come in and transact with you here. So again, just a reminder, when buyers submit orders to suppliers that are Thomas registered or Thomas verified, that transaction assurance is automatically kicked in. So that's good for the buyer and it's good for you as you're making these new relationships with folks that you're bringing on as customers here going forward. So finally, when that buyer comes through and clicks that they do want to order and they check out, you get a notification inside of your inbox again that, hey, you've won the business and that quote has been actually ordered and checked out. So what happens now is that you can go in and actually look at that project and begin the work on it, whether that's assigning it to folks on your team to start working, or whatever you need to do to start that facilitation process inside of your business as a go forward. So again, maintain that communication with the buyers, let them know that, hey, we're excited, we're working on this right now, and we'll get this out to you here on the desired shipping date. So once you click into that button, you'll see all of your projects here. So ones that you've quoted and also ones that you've won inside of here. So all of this data is, again, organized inside of your Thomas account for you. So as this comes through, you'll be able to see all of the different projects that you've quoted, again, whether they're purchased or whether they're still open to be purchased, and you can interact with them here as well. So just one pro tip here from the team, the way that you get paid is by setting up your Workcenter account. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute too, but this is where you can see all of the information that you won. So once you've won that closed deal and you're doing the work and you pack it all up and you put that packaging slip on it, all you need to do is come back into the system and click off fulfilled. So you click off that mark as fulfilled button, which means you've completed the project. And that's what triggers that 30-day payment cycle to make sure that you get paid net 30 on that work you did. So again, to get paid, we need to get that Workcenter account set up. So we're going to talk about that right now and how that works. But again, it's as easy as this. Buyers can submit those quotes to you. You can take a look at them, read through it, communicate with them back and forth, submit that quote back to them. They can check out right inside the platform. You get guaranteed net 30. They can pay however they want and have transaction protection. Everybody gets to win as you're starting new relationships here, or if you're working with established customers as well. So now that we know that workflow and how things function inside of the industrial buying engine and all of that transaction assurance and opportunity that we can help you with there as far as cash flows that are guaranteed on time, as well as a 0% transaction fee, which will be less than whatever you're using right now too. Now we got to make sure everybody gets paid, right? That's the most important part of the process. So we have a tool called Workcenter that's actually a manufacturing execution system and can do all kinds of really cool stuff. But what we're going to focus on today is how you get paid inside of Workcenter. So inside of your thomasnet.com account, you'll see a little button there about 3 down. You can see in the middle of the page that says Workcenter. You're going to click on that button in Workcenter. You just got to do this once to set up your profile. And you're going to go set up your profile to get paid. So this is entering things like your banking information, where you want the payments to go. Everything is obviously in a secure environment here. Everything is AWS. So top of the line infrastructure here that we use at Thomas & Xometry to make sure all of your info is safe. So as you're getting paid, what you can see inside of Workcenter is all of the orders that have come through that you have processed and marked as fulfilled are the ones that are going to have a date that they're going to get paid on. So what you'll be able to see is all of the projects that have come through and been ordered, and then if you've marked them as fulfilled, they'll have a date on when they're going to be paid for you here. So as you begin to use Industrial Buying Engine, please make sure to set up that Workcenter system so that we can make sure you get paid as quick as possible here. We have a lot of help to support you as we go forward. So there's a chat bot within Workcenter that you can use to ask any questions to get help there. We also have a customer success team here that can help you out as well. So what do we do next here? As I said, all kinds of different support. So we have an entire handbook on how to use the Industrial Buying Engine step by step. We have multiple videos here to help you understand exactly how the process works and what you can do to leverage this for your company. We also have other accelerated payment options. If you wanted to get paid faster than net 30, we actually have financial services that can help do that as well. And you have all of the opportunity to do the messaging and quoting experience back and forth inside of the Industrial Buying Engine. As I mentioned, if you would like to chat, we have one inside of Workcenter. We also have one on thomasnet.com. But if you would like to talk to a real human at the end of the day, we have those too. So Miss Reggie Rios and Tamara Adams, wonderful folks on the Thomas team here that head up the different areas that can support you. So if you want to talk to some folks, make sure you reach out at business.thomasnet.com/support, and we will make sure that we get someone with you there to help you through the process. So with that, I will pause here. I appreciate everybody attending here today to learn more about the industrial buying engine on thomasnet.com and how that can benefit both buyers and suppliers like you to further their businesses and be able to grow. So Dan and Lauren and William, I'm happy to take any questions we have from our audience today here.
Yeah, so Sean, and thanks everyone for joining. We did have one question come in around integration with NetSuite. Does your software integrate with NetSuite to post all of the accounting transactions? Sean, would you like to handle that, or I'm happy to as well?
Sure, that's a great question. So this is, again, the first version here that we've just launched. That's part of the product roadmap here going forward. Big ask across all manner of different systems that folks want their orders, leads, et cetera, to be able to flow through and throw into. Our goal is to make this easier for you as we go forward. So we're going to make sure that we're having those in the development queue here as well. Feel free to add anything there, Dan, if I left anything out.
No, I think it's really important that Albert here specified NetSuite as we think about kind of where do the integrations that are going to add the most value. Good to get that on the map. That is the only question that's come in so far. Let's give it a moment or two as people may be typing other questions into the box.
Sure, I'm happy to cover a couple of other things here while we're waiting to see if anybody else wants to ask some questions. Some questions I've gotten offline here. Folks are too shy today. We did have a different percentage for the transaction fees before. We have dropped that all the way to 0 for all of our premium suppliers here on thomasnet.com. So that's our Thomas registered and Thomas verified suppliers. So again, happy to extend that 0% transaction fee to folks here as we go forward. One of the other big requests that we've had is to be able to supply all of that buyer information and quote information as far as the request. And again, that's a big thing on the product and technology roadmap here as well, to make sure that we get that knocked out and delivered to you easily as well.
Sean, we had another question come in. I've been getting some side questions on this as well. Can you drill a little deeper into the different use cases between the RFI button that most of our customers are familiar with and kind of when they would use that compared to when they might use this IBE features that you've talked about today?
So Dan, the question is, when would you use IBE for either established customers or new customers? Is that the genesis, basically?
I think it's more about understanding kind of just the differences between these two features, the RFI button and the new IBE.
Sure. So yeah, the RFI button is the tool set and feature that was on the platform previous to the industrial buying engine launch. And look, that's there, and it can deliver things directly into your inbox in your email, right? So, and that's fine, and you can take that and you can use it offline, and you can process, however you like. With industrial buying engine, it gives the added flexibility to be able to run this through thomasnet.com and the industrial buying engine to help that buyer check out, if that's going to be beneficial for both you and the buyer there at that point. So you always have the option to do things in the industrial buying engine or offline the way you have forever. RFI has that basic information that's delivered to you in email. What the industrial buying engine does, again, is tries to collect more information around that submission for quote so that we can give you more good info, and then you can make decisions on what's going to be the best for your business and that buyer as we go forward.
Awesome, Sean. So a couple new questions are coming in. This first one I think is a nice one for you. Is this a new service that we have to purchase, or is it existing for Thomas registered and or verified?
Yeah, so good question. No, this is not something new that you have to purchase. Again, this is things that we wanted to build into the platform to try and make the process easier for buyers and suppliers at the same time. So this is a free feature that we've turned on for everyone that's already working with us here as a Thomas verified or Thomas registered supplier. Just trying to make everybody's days a little bit easier as we go forward here, and obviously more to come. This is the first release of this, but really looking forward to how we can accelerate and support everyone with their needs.
All right, we have a question. I'll take this one to give you a break from speaking. This would only work if we make price available on our website, correct? So actually, this is available. It does not require price being available on your website or on your ThomasNet page. Through the communication tool and the proposal tools that Sean showed previously, you and the prospective buyer would be exchanging. You would be making a proposal for price and getting the buyer to commit to that price. So that's all a private communication around pricing.
Yeah, so even if it can be just about anything. If it's 30,000 bags on a roll or 200 roller bearings, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have the pricing on your website or anywhere else. This is going to be something that comes through, and you can quote yourself for whatever price it makes sense to. We know with a lot of fluctuating, whether it's material pricing or shipping prices and logistics and supply chain challenges everyone's having at this point, it's good to have that flexibility and not be locked into a single price here right now.
Yeah, next question, excuse me. Can we send existing customers to this that want to do payment terms beyond 30 days? What does that look like? Sean, happy to defer to you, or I can answer that as well.
Great question, Stephen. So this has been, again, one of the things that I've heard for a very long time. I'm just going to use a company name just for illustration purposes. This is not anything indicative, but I've heard from some folks like, hey, I got an opportunity from Boeing, but I can't take it because Boeing's terms are net 90 and I'm not a bank, is the typical quote that we hear from folks. So that was really one of the genesis of the ideas around Industrial Buying Engine 2. How can we enable every business to take the work that they want to and remove terms as a challenge? So the way that it would work, Stephen, is if you got an opportunity like that from someone, even if it came through your regular sales team or your website or anything else, and they were terms that just weren't doable or palatable for you and the company, what you could do is have them come through the Industrial Buying Engine. You can send the quote that you would have offline as well, and then that buyer can choose how they want to pay. If they wanted to extend those terms, they could use the buy now, pay later functionality, or if they have a buying application in already with Xometry, so many big businesses do. We have thousands and thousands of companies that have blanket agreements there. They'd be able to use those too. So again, you get that nice net 30 that helps your business that everybody's used to. And look, if it's a bigger company that's used to longer terms, then we can make that happen for them too. So you get to get the business, they get to get the parts or products that they need, and everybody's happy at the end of the day.
All right, next question. How does this apply to and benefit suppliers that in the business of supplying custom engineered process systems and automation? We do not operate on terms, only payment schedule with some upfront. Also, the amount of information exchange required to develop a quote and the proposal document is more than what seems applicable with your IBE.
Sure. So again, great question, Joe. So for something that would be custom developed, so if this was a custom manufactured part, again, this is the guaranteed payment is from Thomas on this. So again, we're typically the upfront is to make sure that you're going to cover your costs on it. Thomas again is taking on that risk to make sure when you ship it, we're going to pay you on it. So again, things that would be a little bit more complex, like you mentioned, like a full automation system design and deployment. Yes, you can run those through the Industrial Buying Engine as well here. But again, I think to your point, there's a hefty amount of documentation that goes into custom system design across an entire plant, for example, with what's going to go on. But really, that's about the communication that happens between the supplier and the buyer entity at that point. And look, the Industrial Buying Engine may be the right thing to use for that specific example. Or it may be something that you want to use your traditional method with also. But again, it can be accommodated inside of Industrial Buying Engine.
All right, next, is there a way to monitor if there was a request waiting for you without logging into the portal? I can take this one, Mike. You'll get email notifications every time a new project, a new quote has been requested of you. So that will be in your inbox. If you want to continue with the quote, then you would need to log into the portal to take action. Following that, is there a dashboard for suppliers to see opportunities to bid on, or do customers reach out to suppliers? It's a great question. Sean, you want to take that one?
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Which one are you
This is
on?
John Hayden's question. Sorry, I was late to the meeting. Is there a dashboard for suppliers to see opportunities to bid on, or do customers reach out to suppliers?
Customers reach out to suppliers. This would be a buyer sending a quote request directly to you for you to look at, say, hey, great, this is work I like, perfect, or hey, we have this in stock, or these are things we make, whatever the applicable view is on it. And then you can return that quote the way you always would, directly through IBE. And again, buyer can choose how they want to check out and pay and get that transaction assurance. You get a 0% fee on the transaction here as a go forward, and you get guaranteed net 30 payment as well. So no, this isn't a board that you have to go bid on and try and put those through. We know that that's a tough ride, and I've seen that model before, and a lot of work goes into maybe not necessarily what you want to see out of it, John, at the end of the day. So this is everything that comes directly to you that you quote directly.
Great. And next question is from Nelson, who says he is in a local roofing business. Is this platform good for that kind of business, or only for manufacturers of products?
Yeah, so great question. I'm going to guess, Nelson, that you are busier than ever by if my experiences with trying to get folks that do your kind of work to my house or any of the larger facilities are germane to what you do. So as far as on thomasnet.com, Thomas is really about buying opportunities that can be from commercial to industrial, maybe is the best way to put it on here. So as far as your business on being a local roofing company, I think it's a matter of, if you focus specifically on residential homes, one at a time, I think that's probably not the greatest fit for thomasnet.com. If you do residential homes by the development, I think that's a different animal that we would actually probably be able to contribute to you well. We'd also be very strong on any of the industrial or commercial side of things. So I do know that roofing, lumber, and all of a large volume of construction equipment have been surging as far as opportunity inside of the platform and demand. I'm one of those nerds that gets to see all the cool data every single day across the 1.7 million folks that come through the platform every single month. So it's been really interesting to watch things that are involved in construction and how the demand has been up extremely high year over year over year. So again, Nelson, I'm guessing that your services are in high demand. So hang with it, buddy. I'm sure there's a ton of work out there right now.
Next question is around payment limits. Is there a limit to the payment amount that Thomas is willing to prepay suppliers? Does Thomas charge the buyer fees for prepayments on their behalf? So
let me take those in two pieces. One, there's no limit to the dollar amount that can be processed through Industrial Buying Engine. So whatever the size of the quote is, we do not have a limit on that coming through the buyer purchasing it. And we do not charge the buyer any fees for prepayments or anything on their behalf.
Is the IBE optional for suppliers currently in Thomasnet? And follow up, if a supplier opts out of IBE, how will this impact traffic to their website?
The IBE, again, is a part of the platform here, so it's not something that is optional right now. Again, that's why we have the request for information button as well as the Industrial Buying Engine on here too. So if it's not something that you're interested in participating with, you can get the information and work the way you always have. But again, this is trying to add more value and feature and functionality that can help your business and protect you here as we go forward. So while it's not something that you can opt out of and take off, there's no negative impacts to any traffic or anything else.
And then a follow on again from the same customer. Can we use the IBE only for initial contact and carry on information request and quoting through our normal process via email and our own terms? So I'll take this one, Sean. So yes, Joe, you absolutely can continue sort of, field the initial request and then continue the negotiation on your own. However, the buyer credit and net 30 payouts that we offer wouldn't be available because we're not able to then sort of witness the completion of the transaction.
See, nobody likes to be the first one with questions, Dan, but we get a lot of good ones after we started. So
With
go
me,
back and
I
thank
think
Albert
we
for
have hit the natural end of the questions, although we'll see if any new ones come in.
Okay. So there was one in here I think that we didn't hit, Dan. On the supplier side in Industrial Buying Engine, are there multiple individuals that can respond to quotes, or does a single user have to handle everything? No, that's one of the cool features of Industrial Buying Engine, so thanks for asking that. You can actually have your team set up inside of your Thomas account, where whoever, if you have different folks that handle different product lines for you, they can come in and they can answer their own stuff as it go forward too. So again, the real benefit there being whole team can see everything that's coming through, and it's all organized in one place, but it doesn't have to be just, all on one poor person that's never allowed to take vacation again to answer everything. All right. Well, hey,
Our final question.
Dan and Lauren, with that, again, I'll end as I started. So thank you all for spending time with us today to learn more about the Industrial Buying Engine on thomasnet.com. More to come, as always, here at Thomas and Xometry. So be on the lookout for more updates as we go forward. Thanks, everyone.